I'm seeing some parallels between that IU team last year and the Michigan State team this year. No, I'm not predicting college football playoff or anything like that. I'm just saying that I think we're making excuses to underrate this team, and they may exceed expectations. But you have been on the beat for a long time. You're very knowledgeable about this team, so I'm interested in your takes here.
Yeah, this is my 10th season on the beat at the Free Press, and that doesn't count the time that I spent 10 years at the Lansing State Journal, and then all the way back to 1995, and Nick Saban's debut was my first game covering it in college. So we're talking 30 years here. And I do think that there is intrigue with this. Now, the Indiana comparison, and I think Michigan State fans really at times last year got caught up in looking at what Cignetti was doing at Indiana and saying, well, geez, look at that. They did that there. Why can't we do that? And I think they just have different philosophies. I mean, Kirk brought a lot of guys from James Madison with him and a lot of older guys. And Jonathan Smith, you look what he brought. He brought one older guy in Tanner Miller, who was a center last year. He brought one tweener guy in Jack Velling, who was a junior, and he brought a young quarterback in Aiden Childs. And that's all he brought with him. Now he's got another offensive lineman that he brought from Oregon State, but he went other places to get talent and get players. It was a little different build, and I think that's partly because he envisions this not necessarily as a mercenary idea in terms of the transfer portal. He's using it to become a developmental program. And if he can develop these guys, which they did at Oregon State, I think it's much more comparative to look at maybe the last few years at Oregon State and think that that's the case, because Michigan State wasn't that far off for that far long ago, right? I mean, they were an 11-2 team in the 2020s. I mean, we're only at the midpoint of the decade, so it's not that far, but in college football years right now, 4 years ago might as well be leather helmets and no face masks, right? So I do think, though, that Smith's got a good gauge on it. Now,